Hello and welcome back to Red Gaming Tech for yet more of your daily gaming news and myself, Amata. Today is still the 4th of November and this time I'll bring you something a little bit different from Bungie and on the topic of Destiny, because as you may imagine the topic of a PC version of the game has been one that has been very much discussed, and they have basically spoken out on the topic. Bungie community manager Eric Osborne told IGN that attempting to make Destiny for PC at this time would negatively impact the development for the console versions of the game. And basically he said that the studio is determined not to spread itself too thin. Now, with Bungie formerly owned by Microsoft, Destiny will be the studio's first game to be released on PlayStation Studios, as well as, of course, the Xbox consoles. And he said, quote, "It's a huge challenge to ship 4 platforms and a massive opportunity to reach a new audience. We know there are a lot of people out there asking for PC, and we know that there are a lot of gamers that would willingly give us money, but what we have to do is make sure we're focused enough to bring a good experience to any platform that we ship on. What we 100% are not going to do is spread ourselves so thin that it negatively harms the other platforms. So right now we have the 4 platforms, which is a lot to focus on. And as you may remember, a Destiny beta is set to launch in early 2014 ahead of the PS3, PS4, Xbox 360 and Xbox One's release. So if you do wish to try the game out, you can do so. But Osborne did indicate that the beta for Destiny will be much greater in scope than those held in the past for the Halo games. And he said back in October, quote, "The Destiny beta in many ways is being treated like a full product launch. We can't just carve out 3 competitive multiplayer maps this time around. We'd only be gathering data on one facet of the overall experience, one that is arguably the least resource intensive and most well understood by our team. Destiny demands more. Our ambition is to build big, rich destinations that player can visit over and over again, to fill them up with great story and moments that they can share with their friends, and to deliver face-melting action that leads to treasure, challenge and discovery. We want to pour all of that secret sauce into the Destiny beta. It's a massive undertaking, but one that we believe will pay huge dividends for us and for our players." So essentially what this means is that we're not going to be seeing a version for PC yet. He obviously didn't flat out say no, we're not going to release for PC, just that at the moment they are trying to focus on shipping for 4 platforms, which is a rather gargantuan task by itself. Yes, 2 of those platforms are platforms they are very familiar with, well, at least one of them anyway. Of course, they are less familiar with the PS3, given that they were previously owned by Microsoft, but the Xbox 360, of course, is a platform that they are very intimately familiar with, and the PS3, obviously not so much, but it's still a current-gen piece of hardware that is, of course, pretty well known by most developers, and its tricks and little niggles are well known. Of course, the Xbox One and PS4 are new entities, and the optimal way to develop for them just hasn't been discovered yet. You know, if we compare the launch titles of this generation to the titles coming out now at the end of the cycle, they obviously look miles different on the same hardware. So obviously there is a learning curve for each new generation, and I don't think you want to add developing for PC on top of that. Now, I do hope that we get a PC version. I just don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon. It'll probably be closer to the launch of the console versions. Basically, obviously, in the last few weeks of the release cycle, it's actually being sent off for classification, and most of the team is sort of sitting around waiting because they don't have anything to do, like the artists and so on. So in theory then they could start work on the PC version, but to be honest I don't think it's going to happen until the game is actually out and any post-release bugs and patches are sorted out, because naturally with it having a huge multiplayer component and of course being such a big release, bugs are going to happen. It's just kind of part of the parcel these days. So we probably can look forward to a PC version sometime next year, but probably not until a little while after the console versions have come out, which is a bit of a shame, but I totally agree that they shouldn't spread themselves too thin. No one wants to see a slightly worse game just for the sake of releasing on an extra platform. I'm sure we'd all rather they take their time, and then when they've got the console launches all done and dusted and everything settled down, they can fully focus their attentions on making a good PC port, which is something I think we would all want to see rather than something rushed out to market. Anyway, again, that is me done for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.